set to investigate the recall of dismissed former pensions board boss Abdulrasheed Maina. The House of Representatives will also be probing the reinstatement of Maina, whose whereabouts remain unknown. A public affairs analyst, Smart Apejoye, joins me now here on the Media News. It's good to have you join us on the news.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome. So this matter seems to get complicated by the day, but now Jonathan, ex-president Jonathan, is saying that the Buhari administration is just trying to link him unnecessarily to Maina's recall, and would they be the ones to say that Jonathan flew him to Nigeria and promoted him in 2 levels ahead of where he was in 2013? What are your thoughts on this?
First, Jonathan is purely out of this because this started during Jonathan's era, and Jonathan is off it, and I don't see where you'll be linking the Jonathan government with the present monumental embarrassment Maina recalled has cost this nation. And it is so sad that it is happening at this point in time where the government in power came in on the matrax of the fact that they are going to fight corruption to stand still. And because of the fact that Nigerians know Buhari for a person that does not take nonsense when it comes to corruption, it has been proven that Buhari is not corrupt. To go by his profile, he has maintained a high, at least a reasonable profile. To go by that, Nigerians wanted him at all costs, and Nigerians were excited when he came in and he made it as part of his in his speech that look, he will fight corruption to stand still. But are we seeing that corruption being fought now? No. We are seeing corruption being pampered. We are seeing corruption being romanced. We are even seeing more. I'm sure the magnitude of what we are seeing now perhaps will unfold when perhaps he leaves the saddle. But
how quick would one be to exonerate the former administration from this scandal? Because the pension fund scandal actually broke out during Jonathan's administration from 2010 to 2015, even though the government took disciplinary actions and dismissed him. But we're yet to see any prosecution that was carried out then when he was found culpable in between 2010 and 2015.
These are 2 things. Don't let us model it up. In the first place, yes, Jonathan appointed him, say, okay, perhaps we think this man can do the job, go do the job. Jonathan government didn't ask him to go and commit fraud or whatever. It has not been, it is an alleged fraud.
But after finding him guilty, they should have prosecuted him.
They were in the process of doing that when,
him.
Look, they were in the process of doing that when this guy fled. They've been looking for him for a very long while. Number 1. Number 2, what we're talking about, we're not talking about the fraud now. Yes, the fraud has been committed during the Jonathan administration. But this guy being recalled back to the government is the embarrassment. This is an embarrassment that should have cost so many people their job right now as we are talking about. But we can just see buck passing. And you see, in Nigeria, we have this attitude that when an issue becomes pressing, it is burning. Burning in the first 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maximum 4 weeks, we sweep it under the carpet. That makes it sad. This is not Jonathan. Jonathan, yes, this guy has committed the fraud under Jonathan administration. Let's take Jonathan. Jonathan has no...
But isn't that also pampering corruption, not prosecuting someone that has been found guilty?
That was why we brought in Buhari. That was why we brought in Buhari.
Someone that is being suspected of fraud, not found guilty.
I think Nigerians must get it this way. Nigerians, we shouldn't have voted out Jonathan. It was because Jonathan perhaps came on the air and said, look, if you are corrupt, you are not stealing. That corruption is different from stealing. And Nigerians became to wonder, say, what is corruption, what is stealing? And he was defining and justifying corruption, justifying stealing. So Nigerians get angry and said, look, this man must get out of it. Let's bring somebody that we thought has integrity. Jonathan could not, perhaps because we thought he does not have integrity. But that is even, he started it. But however, a government that is supposedly seem to have integrity, that is Muhammadu Buhari, now came in. They brought this guy in through the back door, and he's been there. He even collected a backlog of his salary. By now, somebody should have been asked to refund that money. By now, somebody should have been behind the bar. All of a sudden now, EFCC woke up from the slumber to start sealing up those properties that are linked to him. Does this property now exist overnight, maybe 3 days ago or 4 days ago before the Premium Times report and before we got wind of it, or those property has been there? If those property has been there before now, Then what happened? Why were this property not sealed up? Where was this property not under investigation? Why did EFCC all of a sudden now start marking the house under investigation?
But we've seen dust raised over very important personalities, political figures, even in the judiciary as well. Top prominent people in the judiciary, you know, dust raised over them for them to be prosecuted, even though we are still expecting the results of those investigations and those trials. But so how is this development enough to just give up on the administration and say they are not indeed fighting corruption?
Honestly, this is enough, but perhaps we won't give up.
Right.
The simple truth is that this is where Nigerians should stand up. Instead of giving up, let us stand up. Let us stand up and begin to ask questions. Let us stand up and say, look, enough is enough. The only way we could do this is that we must go, look, there's what we call judicial precedent. There is what, if you have done something right and perhaps it has given you a good result, then you can also do it again. This is where people this is where like we must have another emergence.
Aren't we asking enough questions?
This is what we must have. This is not asking questions now. Now we want to take what is left to be done is that Nigeria, the civil society, and if the NLC, if today they are not even saying anything about it now, they've not come up and said, look, we are going to shut down this nation if we don't have a full explanation within the next 72 hours that they only threaten to shut down the nation when their salaries are not paid. I mean, that is unfortunate. This is where there should be a synergy between the civil society and the NLC. We want a full explanation on this. And even nobody is even, everybody is doing business as usual.
Exactly, and it's at this point you begin to ask who will bail the cat. Probably someone like you will start it and then the rest will follow. Smart Apejoye, thank you very much once again for joining us on the Media News. Thank you.